Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on March 28th, opening day. Thursday is opening day. I'm recording this on Wednesday. Wanted to go ahead and get my MLB video out a day early at least, so that way there's enough time for you guys to consume it. It's especially if you're planning on playing NBA as well. Wanted to go ahead and get this video out there so you can watch this video and then you can watch my NBA videos as well. Now that MLB is here, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing MLB and NBA videos both. I'm going to try to. I'm going to try and make one the night before, and then the day of I'm going to try. So like MLB, I might try and make it the night before, and then NBA, I'll make in the morning. So that way I can get both videos out for those of you that are playing MLB and NBA. I plan on playing both if I can. Probably going to prioritize MLB, try and get that out first because that's what I'm really going to be focused on. But I will try and still play NBA as well. For those of you that are new to MLB, I did make like a tutorial video on some of the tools that I like to use for MLB DFS. I will link that video down in the description for those of you that have not watched that. I made it a while back, like a year or so ago. So if you do want to watch that, link will be down in the description. My MLB videos are going to be pretty similar to my NBA videos and my NFL videos. I'm going to go through the positions, mostly just going to look at pitcher, talk about pitchers that I like, work our way through the pitcher player pool. I'm not going to go through each batting position like catcher, first base, second base. I'm not going to talk about each one of those positions. Instead, I'm just going to give 3 hitters that I really like and then talk about some of my favorite stacks. This page that I have pulled up right here is the MLB Daily Lineups page Fantasy Labs does. This is probably the #1 tool that you need to be using for MLB DFS. It gives you the projected lineup for the teams, what their projected lineup is expected to be, and then once the lineup gets released, it'll turn green and it'll give you the confirmed lineup. It gives you the implied run total for both teams. Mets 3.3 implied run total, Nationals 3.8 implied run total. Vegas is something I factor in quite a bit for MLB DFS. I think Vegas is important for all sports, but for MLB, I think that's where it's the most important. It'll also give you weather, what the weather is expected to be like. Weather is very important in MLB. If there's ever a chance that games could get postponed and you have a player in those games and the game does get postponed, you will get 0 points for that. So you're going to want to make sure you're tracking the weather as well for all the games. But like I said, guys, make sure you use this MLB Daily Lineups tool that Fantasy Labs offers. It's free. It's a great tool. In that video that I'm going to link in the description, I do give all links to all the tools that I use for MLB DFS, so make sure you check that video out after you watch this. But we're going to look at DraftKings and Yahoo, talk about some of my favorite pitchers, and then we'll talk about 3 of my favorite bats and some stacks that I like for this opening day slate. We're just going to look at the 4 o'clock games, 4 o'clock to like 4:10. There's like 9 games on DraftKings. On Yahoo, their main slate starts at 4 o'clock. It's the 4 o'clock games, and then they also added the Boston-Seattle game that's at 7 o'clock. That's a part of the Yahoo main slate. So we're going to talk about those games. We'll go ahead and look at pitcher. Just before we do get started, though, guys, would definitely appreciate it if you would drop a like. If you do enjoy these videos, make sure you subscribe if you are new, if you're new to my channel. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please be sure you hit that subscribe button down below, so that way you won't miss out on any of my new uploads. But a pitcher today, this is usually always a position I try and pay up for at least one ace. Depending if there's like a team I want to target or a stack that's like a cheap stack, then maybe I could fit in 2 aces. But some of the stacks I'm looking at the night before or looking at the day before, looking kind of expensive. Like the Cubs, I really like. They have pretty expensive bats. I think Oakland is in a really good spot. They have some expensive bats. Maybe the White Sox, Royals, those 2 teams could be like cheaper stacks to use, but I'm really looking at Oakland and the Cubs for the teams I want to stack, and a lot of the bats in that lineup are expensive, so we're probably going to be able to get 1 stud and 1 cheap pitcher. There is a cheap pitcher that I do really like today, but definitely the stud I want to play is Justin Verlander. He's 11K on DraftKings. I really like him on DK. We're going to talk about Chris Sale when we get over to Yahoo. Since Yahoo has that 7 o'clock game, Chris Sale is an option. He's $3 more than Justin Verlander, and I do prefer Sale to Verlander, but on DraftKings where Sale isn't an option, Justin Verlander at 11K here against the Rays, I think is definitely a player we can target here. Obviously, Verlander is an ace, a stud pitcher. He's facing a Rays team that really doesn't have a ton of good hitters. This was a Rays team that I picked on a lot last year. There's a team that does strike out a bit. We look at their projected lineup for tomorrow. Not a ton of great hitters in this lineup. Austin Meadows obviously an up-and-coming prospect, but still not the best hitter. Tommy Pham's a pretty decent hitter, but once you get past Pham, there's some strikeouts in this lineup. Avisel Garcia will strike out. Yandy Diaz will strike out. Mike Zunino will strike out. Willie Adames, pretty high K rate. So this is a spot where Verlander can rack up the strikeouts. When rostering pitchers, we obviously want them to rack up strikeouts. That's what gets them the fantasy points. So Verlander at 11K, definitely a stud I'm trying to pay it for at pitcher. And on Yahoo, I do prefer Chris Sale to Verlander. I really like Chris Sale here. Just not much needs to be said. Chris Sale, one of the best pitchers in the league, if not the best pitcher. He's going to rack up a ton of strikeouts no matter what the matchup is. I'm not concerned here in the matchup with the Mariners. It's a good pitcher's park. Sale should be able to dominate. If you feel better going to Verlander, you could do that, but I think Sale probably has a little bit more upside than Verlander. And for just $3 more, he is definitely a guy I want to target. And then the value pitcher that I really like to pair with my stud is Eric Lauer, very cheap on both sites. He's $5,600 on DraftKings. He's the minimum for a pitcher on Yahoo at $25. He looks really good here at home against the Giants. Great matchup. This Giants team last year and this year I don't expect to be very good. They just don't have a lot of good hitters. Although there aren't a ton of strikeouts in this Giants lineup, like I said, just not a lot of good hitters. They did lose Andrew McCutchen, who was a pretty good bat for them last year. So I like Lauer a lot here. He's pitching at home in San Diego, a pretty good pitcher's park as well. And he's dirt cheap. He pairs very well with a stud pitcher that you want to pay it for, whether it's Verlander, if you want to go to Kluber or Blake Snell. Pairing him with Lauer still allows you some pretty good salary to fit in an expensive stack like the Cubs or the A's, who we're going to talk about. Really like Lauer quite a bit. And then looking at some of the other pitchers, if I'm not paying up for Verlander, if you want to look a different route off the Verlander, I think Kyle Freeland at 9K against the Marlins is a very good play. This Marlins team is going to be probably one of the worst teams in the league. They're just not good. They just don't have a lot of good hitters. It's a great pitcher's park for Kyle Freeland. Getting out of Coors Field and pitching in Marlins Park which is one of the best pitcher's parks. So I think Kyle Freeland at 9K looks like a very good option if you want to play him. Carlos Rodon could have some upside here. $7,500 on DraftKings. I don't love that price, but he is facing this Royals team another team that's just not very good offensively, just doesn't have a lot of good hitters. Whit Merrifield is definitely a scary bat. Merrifield a very good hitter. But once you get past Merrifield, there's just not a ton of good bats in this KC lineup, so don't mind Rodon, especially on Yahoo. Rodon is 28, close to minimum price. He looks pretty good on Yahoo if you want to play him over there. But the value play I really like at pitcher is Eric Lauer. I don't see myself really going to Urena or Trevor Cahill or Mike Minor. Cahill and Minor are kind of two pitchers I'm actually looking to stack against today. But let's go ahead and talk about some bats that I like. So the first hitter that I want to mention is at third base, Matt Chapman. I love today, $4,700 on DraftKings. On Yahoo, he's at third base as well, and he is $19 over here. This is a great spot for the A's facing Trevor Cahill, who is a pitcher that's just not very good. He was a pitcher last year that kind of struggled, had up and down games, was just never a consistent pitcher, especially against righties. He struggled a lot last year. This Oakland team has a ton of right-handed bats with power. They got Chris Davis, they got Matt Chapman. This is just a very dangerous lineup. This A's team made a lot of noise last year. I expect them to do the same this year. I love Chapman. I love Davis. I think those are two guys you can definitely look to from Oakland. Laureano should be leading off, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty cheap. So he could definitely be another guy you look to from the A's. The A's have a lot of good options today. Definitely a team I'm trying to stack up. Stacks are going to be something you're going to hear me talk about a lot in MLB DFS. And stacks are usually what win you tournaments. Like, you can game stack in NBA, you can, I guess, game stack in NFL, but MLB, that's where stacking is something you just do every day. Because usually there's going to be at least a couple teams that score 6, 7, 8 runs and kind of win you a tournament. So that could be Oakland today, and I do like them quite a bit. But now going over to shortstop, there's another play that I really like here. Javier Baez, $4,800 on DraftKings. And on Yahoo, he's $23. Love Baez here, and I do like the Cubs as well as a team we can stack. They're facing Mike Minor, who is a left-handed pitcher, and the Cubs do have some good righties that can hit left-handed pitching well. Baez is one of them. Chris Bryant as well, I think, is a very good play. If you don't want to go to Matt Chapman, then you could play Chris Bryant at third base. Just really like the Cubs here. Baez, a great hitter, kind of the full package. He gives you power. He gives you speed as well. If he gets on base, he can steal bases, which just adds to his upside for fantasy. So love Javier Baez here. Pretty good hitter's park as well in Texas. although it's not summertime now and it's not like 90 degrees, 100 degrees, which we're going to talk about during the summer when it starts to get that hot in Texas. It becomes a great hitter's park in Texas, but even now, I think it's expect to be like 66 degrees in Texas tomorrow, so pretty decent hitting weather. Let's see if I can get to it. 74 degrees actually with 49% humidity. Wind looks like it's going to be blowing in, so that doesn't really help a ton, but still I expect the Cubs to be able to put up some runs here. So I do like stacking this team, and I do like Baez and Bryant quite a bit, especially the righties. That's where I really want to look to. Attacking Mike Minor, want to look to the right-handed bats. But now my final play is going to be in the outfield. From the White Sox, I really like Daniel Palka today, 4,200 on DraftKings. He's very cheap on Yahoo. He's only $10 over here. Although he is listed as day-to-day, I expect him to be in the lineup. For what it's worth, DraftKings already has him in the lineup batting 6th. I'm not very sure where they got those lineups from because I haven't seen any confirmed lineups for opening day, but DK has him in there batting 6th. I expect he's in the lineup probably batting like 4th, 5th, or 6th. And he's another guy with a ton of power, facing a right-handed pitcher in Brad Keller who's just not very good, not a great strikeout pitcher. Palka was a guy that kind of struggled with strikeouts last year, but he did have a ton of power, had 27 homers on the year. Towards the end of the year, we saw him really starting to pick it up with the homers. Great power bat. And I just really like Palka here. I think the White Sox are another team you could probably look to for some good bats. Brad Keller, definitely not the best pitcher, a pitcher that we can pick on. Go look at some White Sox hitters that we could potentially target. Jose Abreu, if you want to pay up for him at first base, 4,700. I think he's an option. Yonder Alonso, sort of as a cheaper value option at first base at 4,100, I do like. Even Wellington Castillo at 3,500. Expect to bat 5th. You could look to. You got Yohan Moncada leading off, another guy you could look to at 4,500. The White Sox definitely a team I look to today. Brad Keller's just not a pitcher I believe in, not a pitcher that I think is very good. Definitely a guy I want to stack against. So love Palka here. Would not be surprised at all if Palka takes him deep. Great power hitter, and just facing a very bad pitcher overall. So these are my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo for MLB. Now I quickly want to talk about some of the stacks I like for this opening day slate before we end the video. So I kind of went over it. Oakland and the Cubs are the 2 teams I'm really looking to target. Right now, as I'm recording this video the night before, or the day before, Fantasy Labs doesn't have the projected lineups in for every team, which is kind of annoying, but some teams do already have implied run totals up. Like, we got a 4.6 implied run total for the A's, which isn't insanely high, but since a lot of people do look at Vegas, I'm sure people are going to see a 4.6 implied run total and might shy away, but I still want to target Oakland here, especially some of the righties with power, Chris Davis, Matt Chapman, 2 guys I look to, and then a lot of the righties from the Cubs, whether it's Bryant, Baez, Contreras, those are guys you could look to from the Cubs as well. So those are 2 teams I like. Maybe some lefties from the Pirates. Pirates are in a good spot here going to the Great American Ballpark, which is a very good hitter's park. Luis Castillo is a pretty talented pitcher, but he does give up some home runs. Corey Dickerson leading off at like 3,800, I think is his DraftKings price. He should be a pretty good play if you want to target him. Pirates do have some power bats, and they're in a good hitter's park, so they're another team you could look to. Now I did mention some White Sox bats that I do like versus Brad Keller. Just don't think Brad Keller's a great pitcher, so do want to target some bats against him. But I think that's it for stacks, guys. Obviously, once we start to fully ramp up into MLB season, we'll have like all the projected lineups out. But since I am recording this video the day before, not all lineups are out. We don't really have projected lineups for every team. I'm sure most guys will be in there since it's opening day, unless a guy's hurt or something. I expect pretty much all players that are healthy to be in the starting lineup or in the batting order. So even though like Palka's listed as day-to-day, I expect him to be in the lineup, batting somewhere near the middle of the order. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for this opening day MLB slate. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoy these MLB videos, just do me a favor, click that like button down below. If you have any questions or if you want to leave any feedback, feel free to do so down in the comment section. Or you can always message me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you enjoy these MLB videos during the year. Hopefully you're going to continue to watch my NBA videos. I'm going to try and get both out, at least till NBA season, regular season's over. Going to try and make videos on both sports. But yeah, good luck on this opening day slate, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.